What is the hardest challenge in Repo? Some would say getting to level 10. Some would say getting to level 100. Some would even say getting to level 999. I would say the Iron Man challenge. No cart, no shop. All the way to level 10 by myself. This challenge comes with a lot of unique setbacks and pitfalls. They mostly don't come into play until the later rounds, so I will be talking over them, explaining the game for you people out there that haven't played Repo. Repo is a game where you are given some tools and a quota. You run around, find loot, and take it to the extraction to complete the level. Normally, you have a cart to help carry items. In this challenge, however, I do not, making each level take an excruciating amount of time to complete because I have to carry each item back by hand. This makes running into monsters more devastating than normal because if you drop an item in this game, you'll damage its value or even completely break it, with a few exceptions. Speaking of monsters, I'll quickly explain a few important ones. First, the blind man, a man walking with a shotgun that he uses to feel in front of him as he walks. If you make any noise at all, he will fire his shotgun in your direction, immediately ending your run. However, he cannot see, making the counterplay fairly simple. Do not make any noise. Best case scenario when you have a blind man in around is a few more minutes being patient. Worst case, you get caught making noise running from another enemy. Next enemy is the Scarecrow. A living scarecrow with scythes for arms, swinging wildly in your direction while charging at you if she sees you. Easily avoidable if you have stamina. You just have to hope there aren't more enemies around. The last enemy I will be explaining is the Robe, a tall figure in a black robe that will stalk you if it sees you, and looking at it makes it move at an ungodly speed. A mostly silent enemy, making it an easy run ender if you aren't careful. Now, something I want to discuss before commentating over the later rounds is the tactics and strategies I employ in this run. The first is to not take items that would make noise until it would complete the extraction. The reason being that these items will attract enemies on the map to your location, congesting the area the item was in, so it's best the extraction is completed before you do that. The next strategy I employ in this run is to simply just be patient. Doing this challenge, I have died too many times by just rushing myself. This isn't a speed run, so I can slow down majorly in this run. The last strategy I use is to take any opportunity I can to kill enemies when it is safe to do so. Less variables is less stress for me, which makes the run more doable in the later levels. All that being said, let's get into the more intense levels of this challenge. Alright, jumping into level 4. This challenge is pretty difficult, but it can be pretty easy if you're just patient most of the time. If you don't get unlucky with the monsters that you get in your level, it can be chill. Here we get the blind man. He's not that hard. You just have to take like twice as much time because you have to crouch everywhere you go because you don't want to get caught off guard by him. Here I tried to bait him up the stairs because if you get him to go up the stairs and go back down the stairs, he trips and you can kill him that way. But I failed to do so, as you can see. And the level goes pretty smoothly. Not too much to note. Right there I used a strategy where you can actually see further if you look to the side of your screen. So positioning your camera to where you can see through a doorway through the side of your screen actually lets you see further ahead. I was looking for the blind man, but didn't see anything. I just wanted to talk about that strategy because it was important for me during this run to not make any mistakes or run into anything. Right here, the blind man kind of catching me by surprise, but I had a clown doll already prepped and ready to go, so I blow it up. It's a little scary because I had to click the nose one more time. He almost shot me. But we kill him, and we move on, getting his orb for $6,100, which was huge for the extraction. And to complete the extraction, I only needed about 3,000 more. I ended up finding another clown doll. It wasn't enough for the full extraction, so I baited the Yeti to come over, and the Yeti also blew up. I thought I activated it too early, but the Yeti, I obviously saw those white particles flowing out of the doorway, so I knew it was safe to go grab the orb. And with that orb, I completed all the extractions for level 4, and I can move on pretty smoothly. Now, the ending got kind of scary because when the Yeti and the blind man are together, the blind man will just randomly shoot. And so I was just trying to avoid the shots. It was the most unpredictable thing I've ever seen, but eventually I get out, and that's level 4. Jumping right in here to level 5. This is where things start to get tricky because there's a lot of enemies to deal with and a lot more extractions, or not more extractions, but higher valued extractions, and it can really take a lot of time in this challenge moving items to all these extractions with this high of a value. Right here we get pretty lucky. We get a wizard staff right at the entrance, so it only takes me maybe a minute to get that into the extraction, and we move right on to the second extraction, which goes pretty smoothly. Obviously, right here I make my first big mistake of the run. I hear the alien behind me, but I don't think I recognize in the moment that it was the alien. And yeah, I get cooked, 50 health off for the whole rest of the run. And we move on with the extraction, putting a few more items in there. I'm pretty sure the rest of this extraction went smoothly. Nothing of note really happened. I also wanted to talk about this. A unique challenge with this repo challenge is that no strength upgrades, so I can't just pick up the cube and take it up the stairs. Instead, I have to rotate it and make it go up the stairs on its own, which can cause damage to the cube, making it harder to complete the extractions. However, I move on pretty smoothly to the third extraction. There's not a lot to note here. I get pretty lucky, get a light big item, so easy 10,000. The timers can be a bit annoying because they take a long time to get to the extraction, but other than that, it went really smoothly. I even had a clown doll in case I needed to blow anything up. Right here, we had a close call with the mace guy. He sees me, he notices me, I just run the other way, get out of the way, and we are smooth sailing. I think I even see the alien right there in that doorway. So I throw that item to distract the enemies, and I think it worked. Now I found myself on level 6. This was my personal best before this run, and I really just wanted to get past it for the personal milestone, the personal achievement of it. Right here, I almost died to the blind man a few times, but we get out with no injuries, surprisingly. First extraction all the way up these stairs was kind of annoying, but we moved on pretty smoothly. Found 3 goblin heads, which, you know, in this challenge I've gotten a couple of duplicate items that I thought was funny. I think one round I had 3 dolls, but yeah, that extraction moves pretty quickly. Moving on to the second extraction, the animal really was a pain in my cheeks here. I was trying to blow up a bunch of enemies at once, but the animal saw me, started freaking out, started destroying all my items in there, and most importantly, it got the clown doll to like $100. And if the value goes down to 0 on an item, it breaks and it's not usable anymore. So that would have been really useful if I gotta keep the doll, but as you can see here, it freaks out at me again, and I'm not able to use the doll for anything. And with the blind man there too, I can't run away from the animal. The animal will cause the blind man to shoot, and I was like, oh shoot, I really have to get rid of this animal. It gets stunned right there, and I think, oh, this is my chance. I gotta go run. I gotta go do it, but no, I messed it up so bad. I ended up with no money. I ended up losing money because that's like $3,000 for the clown doll, and we had really bad all around. That was a really bad play for me. I end up being able to complete this extraction, although it was semi-difficult. Right there we have this scarecrow just hacking away at the potion, completely destroying it, almost finding me. I thought that they would be able to see me in this little cupboard here, but apparently not. She walks past me a few times actually. It got pretty scary. It was a pretty tense moment for me, especially late at night. So we were able to complete the second extraction. Moving on to the third extraction. This got interesting. Actually, I think this is the fourth extraction, if you'll excuse that error. But I almost kill the blind man. The duck comes in. I'm like, oh shoot. The blind man will shoot at the duck once he resets. So I run away, hide under that desk, and I'm perfectly fine. And so I just continue to find items and bring them to the extraction, trying to be careful but not be stagnant at the same time. I'm always looking for items, always trying to bring items back if it's safe. A lot of reconnaissance actually went into this challenge because normally when you have the cart, it's easy. You just walk around, crouch walking, putting things in your cart as you go. But in this challenge, you have to make sure the path back is clear. And I actually complete the fourth extraction, and we have a really close call here. The animal, the scarecrow, and to my right, you can't see it yet, but the blind man and the baby are there. And really just trying to trap me. I have to jump up onto this counter to not die to the animal and the baby. And the blind man walks around the corner. I'm like, oh, shoot. And then I turn to my left, and there's the scarecrow walking in. I have to jump, dodge the bullets. And then luckily the baby runs into the animal and it gets knocked out, or else I probably would have died here. And that was just a really close call, and I do not know how I survived that. Again, we have another really close call. Everyone and their mother is in this room, and I have to run and duck under this table before anyone other than the scarecrow sees me. Really intense situation. Luckily, the scarecrow left me alone after that, and I was able to make it out pretty safely. And now we're on level 7, my personal best so far. And I really tried to focus on killing this upstream right here, because if this guy catches me off guard, there's lots of falling areas where I can fall and die, especially as you see there, it throws you super far. I actually thought I was going to die here, but surprisingly I get away because it launches me onto this table and it can't see you on the table. But I stun it with this ring, and I think I actually kill it with the ring. Although if you stun it with the ring, you can grab it and throw it down the pit. But showing you why the duck is my least favorite enemy. You can't do much about it if you don't have like a toilet or a cauldron. And it just ruins your whole day, man. It ruins your whole day. I lost 4,000 to that. And that caused me big problems down the road. But we complete the first extraction, and we're moving on. I see the baby, so I grab the ring again. And I try and kill it, but I don't want to break the guitar. Ended up being pretty irrelevant regardless, because the baby threw the guitar and absolutely shattered it to pieces. But I end up breaking the ring, and it auto grabs the baby, which is insane luck. And I end up being able to throw it down and getting the orb for 3,700. Not bad. I'm able to bring this big item into the extraction, which completes it, and that takes me to the third extraction. On my way to the third extraction, I almost get caught out by the robe. It sees me, but as you all know, the best way to deal with the robe is to turn the other way and run. I was hesitant to run because the blind man is also on this level, which is, as you can see right there, probably the worst combo of enemies you can get. And I almost died to him. I thought I was dead right there. It's the worst combo of enemies you can get because the robe, you need to run away. The blind man, you can't run. You need to crouch. So really hard enemy combo. I tried to kill the blind man because he walked down the stairs and he even fell twice. Not sure how much damage this guy can take, but he takes a lot. I don't know how I didn't kill him. But he lived, and so we complete the third extraction. We found a big item, very nice. And right here I get a really, really good idea. I go to kill the rope. I click the clown nose one time, and I'm like, oh, is the rope following me? Oh, it is. Oh, it is. I'm going to go through this tiny crack. I'm going to go through this tiny... Oh, and I didn't. I died, bro. Absolute tragedy. Honestly, I challenge you guys to get to level 10 doing this challenge. And if you do, let me know. I would love to see how you did it, because I don't know if I got bored or whatever, but getting to level 10 doing this challenge, it takes forever, and I can't do it. Like, it's insane. Alright, that's going to be it for today's video. I post weekly challenge videos. If you guys want to see those, just click the subscribe button, click the bell,